Okay, hope everybody's doing good. Hope everyone's weekend felt like longer than 5 minutes. Mine felt like 5 minutes. Always. Okay, so I'm gonna label this 0 radians. This is negative 18 pi over 18 radians and negative 36 pi over 18 radians. Just make sure that makes sense. And then I make my little arrow just to indicate I'm going in the negatives. This. Does everybody understand why I labeled everything the way I did? So 0, negative 1 pi, negative 2 pi. And negative pi over 18 is going to be like, right? It's going to be like, this is probably even smaller than this, but that's okay. Okay, so because you just went this teeny tiny bit of rotation, you want to find the difference between that and 0. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, so you don't need this. I like to do that for labeling purposes, but I only rotated that little tiny bit. So what is the reference angle? Pi over 18, pi over 18. Great. Okay, so reference is pi over 18. And that means that this angle is pi over 18. And what I want you to do is kind of pretend that you have a brand new math problem now. Just pretend that you have positive pi over 18. And this spot would also be positive 18 pi over 18. And this spot would also be positive 36 pi over 18. So first quadrant is just pi over 18. You just use your common sense. If this is 18, you go one back. What would this one be? Yep. So just for the showing my work part, so you guys see I did 180 minus. Now I'm going to do 180 plus. So 18 plus 1. Okay, then quadrant 4, I'm going to do 360 minus. Which would be you know, I feel like somebody, and it was me, gave us a ton of room at the bottom of the page there. And I just crammed all of these teeny tiny fractions. And this, why didn't I? It's fine. It's totally fine. It's great. Okay. Positive coterminal, negative coterminal. Okay, so you go back to the original angle. And for positive, you're going to add 360. 360 is 36 pi over 18. And for negative, you're going to minus 360. And when you get this one, hopefully that clicks for you. Oh, I already labeled it that, so that makes sense. And then this one would be also in the same spot. Everybody good? I wonder how many people could just say that this is one, and so this is one on either side, and then one on that side, without all of this crazy fractioning. Can you guys mostly do that? Okay, when you're done, when you're situated, move to number 7. Okay. And we're gonna do 3 today, because you have sine and cosine waves on your quiz, and I want to go over that a few times before we have the quiz, just to be sure. This is not on your quiz, but this is, you wish, this is much easier. Okay, so exact value. Put the triangle to the x-axis, and then you just have to decide, you don't worry about this angle really. You just say, does it look like a 30, 60, 90 or a 45, 45, 90? If you're nervous, you could go 180 divided by 6 is 30. If 180 divided by 6 is 30, then what type of triangle would it be? 30, 60, 90, right? Okay, now do we have this memorized? So the short leg is 1/2. The long leg is √3/2. And the hypotenuse is 1. And then I have to say to myself, what is positive and what is negative in quadrant 4? This should be -1/2. But it doesn't really matter because it's asking me for cosine. Cosine is the x, which is this. So my answer is that. Okay, then go down to number 11. Okay, now on these problems, I need you to start thinking about your quiz and the fact that you do not have notes. There's 2 things that you're going to have to work on in the next 72 hours before you take your quiz. And that is the locator point for sine and cosine and the general shapes of them. Those were the 2 things that I would be reviewing a lot before I took my quiz. Not so much A, not so much HK, but the locator point and the general shape. Okay, so in this problem, A is 2, B is 1, the period is 2 pi over 1, which is 2 pi. And how many boxes is 2 pi on this graph paper? 8. Okay, now pause. H has to be in parentheses. If there's no parentheses, it's 0. and k is on the end at -1. Do you have any questions about where I got those values from before we start? Okay. You sure? You positivo? Okay, so start with k, make your midline at -1. The first step is k, -1. Second step is a, which is amplitude. So you go 2 on either side of your midline and make your amplitude lines. Okay, any questions so far? Are you guys sure? Are you positive? Because I don't want anyone walking over to me going, I don't get any of this. I'm pausing right now. Make sure that you're good so far. Okay. Next step is locator point. For sine, the locator point is HK. What is it for cosine, guys? H comma K plus A. Okay, but we're doing sine, so it's HK, which is 0, -1, dot, circle. Okay, then I'm going to make my end dot. My end dot is going to be 8 boxes away from my starting dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Starting dot, end dot. Okay, last thing. Positive sign looks like this. I just graphed this dot and this dot. Now I need to fit these dots in here symmetrically. So I'm going to go 4 boxes in and make the middle dot. And then 2 boxes in and make the top. And 6 boxes in and make the bottom. And we're going to leave it like that because I really want you to see that shape. So these are the things you need to be working on. Locator point, shape. The rest of it, I think, is we've done it enough. But the locator point and the shape, the 2 things I would be trying to memorize. We're also going to try to do number 12 and 13 before your quiz so that you'll be able to do that. Okay. I think we're done with the packet for now. So go ahead and take the packet, move that aside. And do you remember how I told you guys to leave me some space for number 6? Okay, so this is 6B. You guys remember how I ran out of time? And I asked you to leave me some space. This is 6B. So I need to finish the 2 problems from Friday that I didn't get to finish. Okay, this is a very spicy problem. And so I don't want to go too fast. There's some of these that are like puzzly type problems like this. I think this is the spiciest one of the day, the whole day. So great, Mrs. Talbot, let's do it first before we even like see sequences or series again for the whole through the whole weekend. It's great. Awesome timing. Perfect. Okay. It says find the series. What that means is it wants you to list the numbers in the sequence order with the pluses between. What is this saying? There's 6 numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers. It's saying the 6th number is 21. And it's saying the sum of the numbers. Wait. I meant to make those pluses on that one. Hold on. The sum of all of the numbers added up is 336. Okay, there's 2 things I have to be able to use. I have the equation and I have the sum formula. Let's see what we can do with the sum formula. Sum equals n over 2 first term plus last term. Are you guys okay? Do I need to change something or do something differently? Okay. Okay. What is the sum? Can I plug something in there is my question. 336. How many numbers are there? 6 over 2. Do I know the first term? No, that's fine. Just leave that blank for a second. Do I know the last term? 21. Okay, what this means is I only have one variable in my equation, so I can figure out what the first term is. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is make this 3. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 3. Is that 1/8, 1/12? Okay, so that means that my first term is 91. Come up here and put 91 in those spots. Okay, do I have enough information to be able to figure out the middle parts? What do I need? What do I need to know? D. Okay, so you have some options for D. When I tell you that if you get stuck, there should be something that you do immediately. And I said this Friday, but I've only said it once so far. I'm going to say it a lot of times. When I get stuck on a problem, I'm going to write the equation. You can write the equation in one of 2 ways. I've given you two options, term 0 or term 1. Here's my question on this problem. Can I work backwards to find term 0? No. Okay, my only option is to do term 1. We haven't done this a lot. That's what makes this one so spicy. This is what the equation looks like written in terms of term 1. So D is still the growth. This becomes n minus 1 instead, and you put first term here. Okay, so this is the last term, T of n, which is 21. D is what I need to know. 21 is in spot 6. And 91 is the first term. Okay, now does that make sense for D to be negative in this problem? Yeah, so I'm gonna put okay, so 91 minus 14 is 77. Minus 14 is 63. Minus 14 is 49. Minus 14 is 35. And then the moment of truth is when you go minus 14 and make sure that that matches. Okay, now I have a vocab question before I'm done. The top line, is that a sequence or a series? With the commas. Sequence. Bottom line is the series. Sequence has commas. Series has pluses with an answer. Okay. Luckily, I don't think the next one is, maybe it's spicy also. I don't know. This one I felt like was pretty spicy. Did you think it was spicy? I thought it was, no? Colin didn't think it was spicy. I thought it was spicy. A little spicy. Okay. All right. We're skipping C and doing D, by the way. Okay. This says find the sum. There's 18 numbers. The third number is 29, and the common difference is 10. So 18 numbers. The third number is 29. The common difference is 10. Okay, so I'm going to start with the sum formula. It's asking me to find the sum, so that's what I'm solving for. How many numbers are there? 18 over 2. And what's the first number? Don't know. However, we can find out. So put 29 here. Okay, and then think to yourself, okay, If the third number is 29, what's the second number? 19. And what's the first number? 9. And what's the last number? We don't know, and I'm too lazy to count out to the 18th number. Okay, when I get stuck, I'm going to go to the equation. Now, on this one, I have enough information to get term 0. What would term 0 be in this problem? -1. Beautiful. Okay. So my equation is T of n equals 10n minus 1. Did I need to do that? Could I have used the 9 instead? I could have used the 9 instead. I just prefer to do this. Okay, now remember, the equation is your little calculator. It can give you anything you want. What do we want? We want the 18th number. And I feel kind of silly because I feel like I probably could have figured that out. Hold on. My picture doesn't look perfect. There we go. Okay, now I flipped to a new spot in my notebook for today. We need to do 21 and 24. I would love to do it without your class driving me crazy, though. Would be awesome, maybe, perhaps, if we could lock in. That'd be wonderful. Write the things I'm writing down and not completely distract me. It's super awesome. And both of these problems, there's nothing new. It's basically just review of everything you've been doing so far from 1 through 6. So 21 is easy, 24 is notes, also easy. I'm hoping it will make sense, like after we do a bunch of them. Okay, you guys, so this is where really hoping that it's gonna settle it. I sort of feel like maybe we should have done 21 and 24 and then gone back to number 6, but I'm too linear for that. My problems have to go in order. I can't. There's a bunch of kids in my stats class who always do the FRQs first. The FRQs are always at the end of the test, and then they go back and do the multiple choice, and I just can't. I respect it, but I'm like, I have to start at number one and then do number two, and I can't do it. Anyway, high respect for it, can't do it. Okay, starting with number 21. First, it's telling you this is basically, okay, pretend that you're just walking into this chapter, you've never seen it before. The first term is 2, and the growth is 0.6. Okay, so we're going to say 2.6, 3.2, comma, dot, dot, dot. And I'm going to put this arrow and that arrow. Okay, let me check in. Can you take that information of the first term and the difference, start writing the sequence, figure out the growth, and term 0? Can you do that? Is that a skill that you have? Okay, that's good. Hopefully. Okay, so that's kind of the first thing. Now, I taught you how to write the equation 2 different ways, and as you could tell from number 6b, sometimes you have to write it in terms of term 1. But we're going to do both ways here. So T of n equals 0.6n minus plus, 1.4. So growth n plus term 0. And that's the one I'm going to choose most every time because I don't know, I'm much more comfortable with that. But if I have to, I could say 0.6 n minus 1 and then put the first term there instead. Okay, can you write the equation in terms of term 0 and term 1? Okay, so what changes when you do term 1? Well, this becomes term 1, but to compensate for that, you have to back up your n1 spot. Okay, now it says find term 16. You could plug it into either one. I'm going to choose this one because it's already simplified. So I found my answer here and I added it back up here to the sequence. You guys okay? Does that make sense? Use your equation as a little calculator. Okay, last thing, find the sum of the first 16 terms. Sum equals 16 over 2. First term plus last term. And that is 104. Okay, that's the basics of where we're at right now. The basics, without having any of those spicy work backwards styles. Are you guys okay with the basic bit? Understanding what the vocab means, what it's asking you to do, the sum formula, the equations. Okay, that's good. All right, now we're gonna just formalize this, do one more example. I'm gonna give you time to set this up. Okay, so we're gonna do this very, very simple one in our notes. And then at the end, there's a couple of the spicier ones. We need to do more of those. I don't think any of them are terrible. I thought it was supposed to be hot today, by the way. Why am I freezing? Okay, all right. Notes, arithmetic sequences and series. Arithmetic sequences are patterns? That's not a word. Maybe it is. It is, actually. Isn't it like when someone walks really softly? Number patterns with commas. Okay, arithmetic sequences. They are number patterns with commas. It's made by repeated addition of a common difference D. Remember, D can be negative. You can add negatives. That's the same thing as subtracting. Okay, we have two equations we can use. I like this one the best, but you can use the other one. Sometimes you have to. T of n equals D n plus T0. Y equals mx plus b. Or T of n equals D n minus 1 plus T1. I'm not going to use this one probably too much unless I'm forced to. Arithmetic series is a number pattern with plus signs, which has a sum. And the formula is sum equals n over 2 first term plus last term. Okay. Now we're going to do a very simple example. 11 plus 18 plus 25. I'm going to make my arrows. What's it going up by? 7. And term 0 would be 4. Okay. Equation term 0 would be T of n equals 7n plus 4. For term 1, it would be T of n equals 7 times n minus 1 plus 11. Okay, any questions about how I found the equations? Remember, those are the key to everything. You sure you're okay? Okay, find the sum. Sum equals n over 2. What's n in this problem? We don't know. Cripes. Okay, let's see what we can fill in though. N over 2, first term plus last term. Okay, what do I do when I get stuck? Equation. Okay, and I have this one. I find that one to be simpler. So I'm going to say, okay, T of n equals 7n plus 4. And what number do I want to know the spot it's in? What number do I need to know which spot? 74. And then you're going to like feel kind of silly after you solve this because we probably could have just counted. So that means 74 is in spot 10, which means that I'm adding up 10 numbers, which means that my sum is 425. The last two problems of the day. Okay. B. Sum equals n over 2, first term plus last term. Oh, hey, they gave us everything in that one. No one is nearly as excited as I am. I'm excited. Huh. Mrs. Tommy, you said it was going to be spicy. No. Okay, now C. This one's fun. I like this one. It says find the sum. It gave you the equation. Remember what I said about the equation? It's magical. It gives you any number you want. Okay, so I'm going to go sum equals 25 over 2. Oh no, I don't know what the first term is, except what could I plug into the equation? 1. Where should I do it? Over here. First term is 4. I don't know the last number, but I have the equation. What should I plug in? 25. 1900. Okay. I have two more things to tell you. First of all, what's the homework? Quiz review. Let's look at the quiz topics. That was the first thing I need to share with you. I posted this today. I didn't post this today. I posted this Friday. The next quiz will be the last day. No notes or calculators, so keep in mind about that sine and cosine wave. You need to know locator point and the shape. The quiz will be the first 15 minutes of class. The first one, the Pythagorean identity. That's like the full story, so including tangents. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Find the one missing one and do tangent. Remember, you might have to break twins out of jail or rationalize the denominator. Keep all that in mind. Second one, graphing a sine or cosine wave. So we just talked about that. Last one, determining if a situation is a combination or permutation and finding the number of possibilities. Remember, I told you guys the formulas for those will be at the top of the paper. You don't need to memorize the formula for combination and permutation. They will be up there. You just have to decide which one it is and plug the numbers in and do the cancel. I won't ever ask you to memorize those. As a matter of fact, I think this is the only time this comes up on an assessment. Okay, last thing. Typically on the first day of the fourth quarter, I let everyone get up and choose their seat. You guys have treated me in such a way that you're gonna stall that for a few days. So enjoy sitting here for a couple more days. And then when I feel like I'm not irritated, I'll let you pick all of your seats. So just know when Mrs. Talbot is not irritational.